Moshi Moshi. This is Virtua Fighter 5 on PS3. It's been a little while. I'm super rusty, so let's play Quest mode. And where I last left off, I had played Jeffrey, which means in my not any particular order of character rotation, it's time for some Vanessa Lewis. But it's kind of always time for Vanessa Lewis, really. Alright, what the heck was I doing when I was last playing? Now, the newbie club is here. Got that one cleared out up through the level where people would challenge me, which was 9th Dan. Wait a second. No, that's right. I'm missing a 9th Dan in this arcade. Rusty as I am, I don't know if I'm necessarily up to taking on a 9th Dan right now. So maybe we'll let them continue to remain at liberty for a little while longer. Then the next higher rank arcade is downtown, and I still have good money. I still have plenty of people to fight here, so that's cool. The gold star means that I've beaten them. So my goal is just to beat everybody. I don't know why. It's just fun. All right. And there's 2 difficulty settings: normal on hard. I keep it on hard. You can switch at any time, but I keep it on hard because normal is too easy on the lower ranked matches. I always double check because I'm paranoid and it's weird. Costume wise, I don't remember what the heck I was doing at all. Let's... Yeah, okay. I don't really like types B and D a whole lot, so basically types A and C are it for now. Unless something amazing comes along that really changes B and D around, I guess. I do have this... What is it? No military shirt item for type A, which lets her just run around in her bra or bikini top. The game calls it a bra, so there you go. So that's fun, and I kind of actually like this color of camo pants I have. There are plenty of others, so I don't know, maybe sometime I'll get some. What about hair? Hair, I think I just sort of recently got this short red hair, kind of digging it. Before that I was doing the medium brown. What I would... I was going to say what I really wanted was short brown hair. But maybe I'm liking the red. Oh. Short white hair could be interesting too. Let's see. Oh yeah, I kind of want short white hair for this costume. That's right. I finally got the sort of all-black combat suit. I was pleased with that. There is at least one other Vanessa sunglasses that I want that I've seen on an AI. It's a sort of a narrow, dark, black pair. Other than that, I don't know what else I would add to this suit. Not that I have much money anyway, so it's not a problem. Well, wait a second. Now, for most of my characters, I've recently gotten a suntan item, and in fact, for Jeffrey, who I was just playing, I got not a suntan item, but a lighter skin item, which was about as horrible as it sounds. I'm hoping there is a darker skin item for Vanessa so she can get back to being in darker skin like she was in Virtua Fighter 4 when she first appeared, before they started bleaching her out. So, fingers crossed for that. That would be amazing. Where did I get those suntan ones? I guess I just got those from filling up orb discs, I think. Huh, some of my characters are I started Vanessa. Vanessa was the last character I started. I started her a little later, so she's only 7th Dan. Some of my characters are already 9th Dan. But I think I got those by filling up orb disc, which is that gray thing with the orange pips in it in the lower middle left there. So I only need one more orb to get some kind of special item. To fill up the orb disc and get a special item. Alright, enough blathering. Let's go beat up some people downtown. Shunto. Or get beaten up by some people, perhaps, since I have been doing other things like playing Tekken games for some reason. I just... I don't know, there were these cheap Tekken games on the PSN store, so I was, well, I don't know, might as well check it out. And, Tekken is definitely way different than Virtua Fighter. It really makes me just feel like mashing buttons. Just, I don't know, maybe I just don't get the control scheme where it's 4 buttons, 1 for each limb, which just it doesn't make sense to me for anything else other than mashing, really. But I'm not very smart, so obviously there are people who are very good at Tekken. I am not one of those. Oh man, the camera. But so for me in Tekken, I mean, what works best is just to go in and what am I doing? I'm doing Tekken buttons. Oh my god, I was trying to do a Tekken throw. Oh, this is bad. I've developed habits from Tekken now. Oh. In Tekken, you can just kind of go in and brawl it up, and in fact, it's weird because Tekken 1 and 2 actually, like Tekken 1 came out around the same time that Virtua Fighter 2 was out, I guess. Virtua Fighter 2 is kind of a horrible game. Like they were trying to do something cool, but the way the inputs actually end up working or not working, as the case may be, because if you nudge up against the opponent, the input you just tried to do just disappears. It's the most frustrating thing. And in fact, then you get stuck in a state where you can't like throw somebody. If you walk up to somebody and bonk into them, then you can't throw them until you back away and reapproach. It's utterly bizarre. Why they allowed it to go out like that, I can't imagine. I think they just were really confused about how to make 3D fighting game inputs actually work. So you contrast that with Tekken 1, which was out around the same time, and Tekken 1 does not have that type of problem. Tekken 1's inputs are clunky and, you know, kind of stiff feeling and all that, but they work like you would think they should work, you know, they work. So that's a big advantage it has over Virtua Fighter 2, Tekken 1 that is. So, I mean, if I had to pick between playing Virtua Fighter 2 or Tekken 1, I would play Tekken 1. The other thing is that Tekken 1's difficulty level is not absolutely ridiculous either. It's tough, it's challenging, but it's doable. More so than EF2. But as I'm not even really paying attention to what I'm doing. In fact, one thing I need to work on is that's the army combination throw. That's quarter circle forward throw. It's a higher damage throw than just her default like forward throw. So I gotta get used to doing that. It's not hard to do really. And you get, I don't know, 20% more damage or something out of it, so, you know, why not? Whoa. Oh, shoot. Oh. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay, I got killed for trying to do army combination repeatedly like just a moron. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Also, I'm not paying attention because I'm just letting the computer pick my opponents for me, and they're probably opponents I've already beaten. Uh-oh. That was an army combination. Dang it, she would have been dead. Oh well. Tekken 2 was a little less stiff. They did nerf throws pretty badly in Tekken 2. I was not pleased with that because I don't like the striking input with the one button per limb thing, so really I was using a lot of throws, but then they nerfed the heck out of throws in the second one. They made them much shorter range. And actually, I think Tekken 1 might not even have throw techs, but in 2, the AI was definitely teching throws, so throws were much less useful. That was kind of a bummer. In other ways, though, Tekken 2, from a technical level, was improved. Actually, some of the stages in Tekken 2 are amazing. I mean, they still look good now. There's this rooftop Hong Kong stage in Tekken 2, which, I mean, this is on PS1. This was a PS1 game. You know, I'm playing the PS1 Classics version on PS3 of it. It's like $5 from the PSN store, but it looks fantastic. And the game has really good. Tekken 1 and 2 both have really nice music. So Namco knew what they were doing when they made those games, and they don't play terribly badly for early 3D fighting games, I guess. And they're challenging, sometimes frustratingly so, but there's tons of characters. I mean, what's really ridiculous is, granted, Tekken 1, there's only 8 starting characters to choose from, but for each one that you complete the game with, you unlock another character. So that's a pretty good character unlock ratio.
Fight 3. Ready? Go.
So you end up with 16 characters right there, and I think you can also unlock the boss eventually if you like beat him without continuing or something. So that's at least 17 characters, which is pretty good for what was that, 1994 or whatever, 95 3D fighting game. I'm just on autopilot as far as letting it pick fights for me. Oh well. It's just as well, I need to just kind of get into the flow.
You're no match for me.
Tekken 2 has, as you might expect, even more starting characters, and then you can unlock even more, hidden characters by beating the game with the starting characters, and it has a ton of modes. They just started throwing in modes. There's a team battle mode where you can set up like a KOF style 3-on-3 matches, but you can actually go up to 8-on-8, which is actually really absurd. But so they just started laying on the content and the ways to play the game, which is really impressive, and it's a different route than Virtua Fighter went, but I think it did end up having its drawbacks for the series, because you skip ahead. Well, I skipped ahead to Tekken 5, which is the next one that was available to purchase and download from the PSN store. And that's probably my favorite one. So of the ones I've played, it's got a lot of characters. It's even got some customizations. They have a mode. Yeah, that was pretty much accidental, but I love those. They have a mode called, what's it called? Shoot, I keep forgetting the name of it. Ghost Battle. And I think that the idea is that you're battling sort of ghosts, quote-unquote, of arcade players. And it's obviously inspired by Virtua Fighter's Quest mode. It's sort of a... Complexity-wise, it's sort of midway between Kumite from VF4 and Quest mode in VF5. Or 4 Evolution if you want, but... So you don't go around to different virtual areas or anything like that. You just go kind of fight after fight like you do in Kumite and VF4. But you can, after each fight, you have a couple seconds if you want to select from 3 different opponents for the next fight, or it'll just assign you one automatically if you don't do anything. And it tells you their rank and their character type. And you rank up pretty much exactly like you do in Quest mode and Kumite and Virtua Fighter. And is it money that you earn? Yeah, you basically earn fight money, and then you can use that to customize your character a little bit. So pretty much just like Kumite / Quest mode in most respects. That's pretty much exactly what I want from a fighting game. I just want a way to keep fighting, feel like I'm making some kind of silly progress, even if it's just, aesthetic doodads, or a little letter denoting my, quote-unquote rank or whatever. And just, that's all I need. That's all I want. It's, you can just chill out, just battle it out, just keep going. That's a fun single-player fighting game to me. That's what I want the fighting game to be. And really, I don't need rank and costume stuff. Really, I mean, if I could just keep fighting at a good skill level, a good AI difficulty level, that's fine. So Tekken 5 does that with its Ghost Battle mode.
We'll fight again.
The drawback is, again, that you still got the wacky Tekken input scheme where you've got the 4 buttons, you've got your right punch, your left punch, your right kick, your left kick, and it's like, what? Am I going to take this guy left-handed or right-handed? I mean, it's just, it's such a weird... It just doesn't make sense to my brain. So I just end up mashing random buttons, more or less. But it kind of feels like that's what you're supposed to do. And I know that if you actually learn all the attacks for your character, you'll be far more effective. But the other thing is that while actually this started, you could see it happening as soon as Tekken 2, characters started becoming less unique. In Tekken 1, for instance, there's a boxer. Well, I guess he's more of an MMA guy, or even a wrestler, maybe. Anyway, but his name is King. He's this goofball who wears like a feline mask, like maybe it's kind of a luchador thing or something. But in Tekken 1, he lays out these huge punches. He's got these huge, massive punches with the 2 punch buttons. It's great. You just nail guys with these huge, I think it was actually left-handed punches, and it's really different, and it makes him feel like a different character than the other characters, and indeed, most of the characters in Tekken 1 do have a very distinctive... feel in that kind of way. They have some thing they're really good at that makes them stand out, some move that's better than others, and all this stuff. Tekken 2, for instance, with King, he doesn't have those big punches anymore. He's still got okay punches, but they're nothing to write home about, They're not really different than everybody else's punches. Which is just weird. And you start to see when you get up to Tekken 5 where the cast starts getting really huge.
Ready?
I mean, it just balloons. And they start throwing in, they even start throwing in these just goofy kind of joke characters, like these animal characters. And this kind of thing. And a lot of the characters just feel really generic. In fact, all the main characters feel totally generic. They just feel like big punch boys. And but then they've got, you know, like the generic kung fu guy, and then they add another generic kung fu guy, and you're like, wait, I'm getting my generic kung fu guys confused now. And they'll take characters, and then the next game or next 2 games later, it won't be that character anymore. It'll be their daughter or their something. Or it's so confusing. I was really lost trying to go through these Tekken games. But anyhow, you start to realize, definitely by the time you get to Tekken 5, that they're genericizing the characters to some extent. But I mean, in a way, in Tekken 5, it still kind of fits the input scheme in a odd way. Well, that's where I am now. How convenient. Oh, bone earrings. Gotta check out my bone earrings. That'll go with my leather bra. Leather bra and bone earrings. Just a cave woman. I'm just a cave woman. Okay. Oh, not really. Those don't look like bone. I wanted just like a femur through my ear. Oh, come on. I'm not gonna fight with that. I don't want my earlobes getting ripped out. Not if it had been like a chicken bone through my ear, I would have been different. I might have just gone with that. But in a way, in Tekken 5, the more generic attack schemes for the characters, it still sort of works. It's not what I would say would be ideal, but there's still some different feel to the characters. Some of them actually. I did have to spend a lot of time searching to start finding characters I felt something from. But I think it's, well, maybe it's not 5. Maybe she came along in 4. I don't know. I don't have 4 anymore. They introduced like this woman who fights in a capoeira style, where you're kind of doing this crazy dance and spinning around on your back and all this stuff, and that's really different. So there's stuff like that where there's still differences between characters that you can appreciate and learn. There's a really cool ninja character who I first saw in 5 named Raven, and in fact they made him just look like Wesley Snipes from, I think, the movie Blade. I've never seen it, but I've seen pictures. But a super cool character, just cool looking, and he says all this crazy stuff, and he's just got this real attitude to him, and just a fun character.
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
And it even kind of makes sense just in terms of, okay, they decided they want to have a giant cast. They want to have you feel like you have this huge variety of characters to pick from, and they made them all these different types. A lot of them are real stereotypes. But it's still giving you this feeling of value, and that you have all these characters, and there are differences between them. But obviously it helps the developers. It helps them make characters faster if they don't have to reinvent the wheel with each character in terms of, okay, what is this? How is this character going to fight? I mean, you look at Virtua Fighter. Each character in Virtua Fighter has their own martial art that's completely different from the other characters. And so they have to figure out how they're going to implement that martial art and how it's going to be anything like balanced with the other characters. And that has to be tremendously difficult. And so Virtua Fighter has never had a huge cast because, I mean, these are probably the toughest characters in fighting games to develop, these Virtua Fighter characters. I'm just guessing. I've never made a fighting game, but I mean, the complexity of the movesets and the unique the way each moveset is so completely different from the other characters. It's gotta be way harder than most fighting games, and certainly than Tekken, where the characters, even in Tekken 5, they kind of feel like they share, I don't know, 80% of their moves or something, basically. And even if the moves don't look exactly the same, they'll have more or less the same effect if they actually hit. So, you know, that's just the way Tekken decided to go. The characters aren't always very different from each other, but they look kind of cool, and you can customize them a bit, and you just get in there and you mash buttons, you know? I mean, there's something to be said for a game where you just get really into just brawling it up in this certain style. It's not really a style that's my favorite thing, but you know, if it's your thing, great. So that's the way Tekken decided to go. But oh shoot. Oh dang. But it starts to become a problem, at least it did for me, just in terms of can I feel anything from this game? Do I get any kind of interest out of playing this game? Because so the next game chronologically that I was able to purchase, I mean the next game as far as their release dates that I found on the store was Tekken Tag Tournament, which is also on PS3, but it's a much more recent game than Tekken 5. And I mean, that game, you can just see the budget they had. The production values in that game are, I think, still the highest of any fighting game I've ever played, or even seen footage of, for that matter. Oh, come on. Yeah, you're gonna get army comboed. Don't try to resist it. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Shoot. Just ridiculous production in terms of the cinematics.
We'll fight again.
Just these huge, gorgeous cinematics, like when you beat the arcade battle mode or whatever it's called. There's tons of modes. There is again the quest style mode. What's it called? Well, whatever I called it earlier, it's still called that in Tekken Tag Tournament. There's still a team battle mode where you can do up to 8 versus 8 teams. I love this dude.
You know what you're getting yourself into.
Just this Rambo guy. But it really doesn't work very well in the team format because you're always doing 2-on-2, but then if one character goes down, you may have to load another fight with swapping like one of the characters, and it just becomes super awkward. But they threw it in there, you know, like, hey, you know, it's a mode. People will be disappointed if we don't include it, probably. So they just threw it in there. So that game is just ridiculous. And actually, the character customization, like 5 had customization, but it was pretty basic. Although one thing that is noticeable is that you could... Oh, wait, no, I guess you had to pick... You had to pick from a certain number of colors, I think. Maybe I'm not remembering that right, but in Tag Tournament 2, the customization is insane. I mean, I spent a ton of time customizing characters in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. I got really addicted to that. I maxed out Sarah's costume closet, which is, what, like 42 costumes or something? I'm really trying to do that throw too much. And I spent a lot of time doing that, but, I mean, it's just like looking at what you can do with Tag Tournament 2's customization mode. It was just like staring into the abyss of, oh my god, I could spend every single waking moment of my life just customizing stuff with this, because there are that many things you can do. I mean, like, you know, in Virtua Fighter, it's the same in 5 here as it is in Final Showdown, basically. Like, you can pick a different hairdo. We were looking at the hairdos I could pick from earlier, and there's the short red hair I have now, there's the medium brown hair, so it's just a hairdo, right? Well, in Tag Tournament 2, there's the I was just customizing one of the female characters, and you could pick what style of hair you wanted in back, like what kind of crazy ponytail, and they had like 40 ponytails. Is this still the tournament? I guess it must be. Oh, no. And then, okay, so there's a jaw-dropping number of ponytails to pick from. Oh no. Okay, I need to pay attention. Wait a second, I even ranked up. I have been paying so little attention to what's going on. So then, the number of ponytails itself was probably exceeded almost the number of hairdos per character in Final Showdown. And most of them look really good, whereas in Final Showdown, oh no. And in 5, it has to be said that most of the hairdos and most of the hats are not very good looking. What's he doing? Oh no, oh shoot. Oh, he was playing me is what he was doing. Kind of forgotten any kind of advanced strategies I had. Okay, so there's one. Oh no, that's not advanced. Oh, I'm getting clowned. Oh, jeez. Gosh. Oh, gosh, dang it. Dang it, that was it. Well, that's what I get for being rusty. Well, I got 4,000 Gs. So I've beaten all 3 of these characters, so what you do is you just back out and go back in, and it re-randomizes, and I've beaten all them. So not only are there, a ridiculous number of ponytails for this character I was just testing customization on and with in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, then you can separately adjust the style of the side of the hair. And there's another 20, 25, I don't know what it was, styles for just the side of the hair. Then there was another 20-some options for hair clips. Then there were maybe more, maybe like 30 options for bangs. And it was just truly just jaw-dropping to consider what you could do with that. And then, of course, there were clothing styles. Oh, and with clothes, whereas in Virtua Fighter 5 and Final Showdown, you're stuck with whatever colors you get. In Tag Tournament 2, I don't think you could do this for the hair. Maybe you could. But certainly for the clothing items, you can customize the colors. And sometimes it's a lot of colors on each item. Like, I think I saw some with up to 5 colors, although that might have actually been in the next one. But, or at least, I know I saw an item with 3 colors on it, and you could just change them around to whatever you wanted. I'm trying to do the throw too much. So, again, just I mean, you give me an open color selector, and I could just spend all day just tweaking one color or small set of colors. I get really bad about color, actually. So I'm kind of glad you can't do that in Virtua Fighter, except that in Final Showdown, they between 5 and Final Showdown, they reduced the number of sort of surface rendering effects. So, and in doing so, a lot of the colors in Final Showdown, I think because they no longer have quite the shininess or reflection to them, just come out looking really flat and gross. So a lot of the colors in Final Showdown are not good, and it's really hard to put sort of coordinated color sets of outfits together.
Fight 5. Ready? Go.
That is not a problem in the Tekken customization modes. Oh, there was that stand-up uppercut. I love that. Oh, shoot. Bam!
Mission accomplished.
So, Tekken Tag Tournament's customization, incredible, incredible. I don't know if there's a better one, and I'll get to Tekken 7. It's just ridiculous. Like, if you just want to play dress-up, then that's... You know, I could just spend all my time just playing dress-up in Tag Tournament 2. It's ridiculous. In fact, that would probably be a pretty popular YouTube channel. Oh man, I shouldn't think about that. So, but you know, comment if you want a Tekken Tag Tournament 2 dress-up channel. I'm not saying I'll be able to do it. I'd just like to know. Oh, I actually played good defense on that. I haven't quite forgotten that. Oh, long throw. Oh no. I've forgotten that in 5 her spin kick is far from invincible. Ooh, that was a fun juggle though. But the problem that I ran into in Tag Tournament 2, and I still think it's fun in a just get in and mash buttons and do goofy juggles and combos way. But the problem I ran into was that every character really did start to feel the same. Like that cool ninja guy from 5, Raven. He's in Tag Tournament 2. He doesn't really do anything ninja-y anymore. He's just he does the exact same things all the generic punch boys do. And in fact, there's basically like there's at least 2 character types left. There's just your generic dudes and girls. It all kind of comes out in the wash. And then there's your big mutant punch boys. Like there's a big robot guy, and there's in 7 there's a big kind of alien guy or something. Just these big hulking, more than human-sized upper bodies and so forth. And they do things. Their moves are a little different, just because they're just a completely different physique. But that's kind of it. And so every fight just starts to feel kind of the same. But again, you can see there was a reason for it, and I think the reason was that, well, again, they wanted a huge cast, and the cast in Tag Tournament 2 is absurd. But they do start to, I mean, you can tell that it really got to start to get absurd to the developers too, because there's, I think, like 2 different bears and a kangaroo and a lizard or a raptor or something, and there's two old guys who look just like scientists in like tweed coats or something. I mean, what are they? One of them, I think, is a butler of one of the other characters, but they're like, yeah, make him a playable character, why not? And there's no reason not to, because they all basically do the same stuff. So you don't, it would be really easy to develop a new character, because they just do, you have to make maybe like 1 or 2 moves for them, maybe. Oh no. Not doing anything clever here. That was a grind. I'm not fighting using very much brain right now, but it's still not mashing. You still have to use a little brain. See, there I was way too slow, and he did unique stuff to me. He's doing his stuff. He's not doing everybody else's stuff. He's doing lay-face stuff, which I particularly detest. Oh yeah. Oh, I could have hit him, I bet. Oh, maybe not there. You know, the thing they wanted to do in Tag Tournament 2 is have these ridiculous multi-person combos where one person gets in, pops somebody up in the air, then they tag the other person in, they continue the combo, and then maybe the first person tags back in. I mean, I don't know. I can't do it at all. Like that is a skill I do not have. I have no idea how it works. I think that was the game where I tried the tutorial and I got stuck at the first step. Like, you go into the tutorial and it's okay, you know, do this this little 3-button sequence that does some move for this character, and I couldn't do it. I tried it, and instead of doing like 1 punch at the second step, it would do 2 punches, and then the thing wouldn't work, and I would be like, why is it doing 2 punches? And I don't know. And the hilarious thing about that too was that there's no way in that tutorial to actually quit the tutorial at that point. So you know, if you can't do that combo, you're stuck. You're just stuck in the tutorial mode. I had to just quit the game entirely right from there, and, you know, lose whatever progress or whatever I had. I don't think there was any progress, but so that was kind of surprising that they let that little problem go by them. But, you know, I mean, I'm an exceptionally clueless person at Tekken, and especially Tekken Tag Tournament, I guess, so, you know, I can't complain too much. The lesson is, get good, fool. But I'm not going to get good at Tekken 2, or Tag Tournament 2. It's just not, I don't like long juggle combos, really. I just don't, it's not what I play fighting games for. So one thing that is nice, though, about Tag 2 is that you can play, instead of playing a tag team, you can just play a solo character, and it seems to do some kind of balancing, so it doesn't feel like you're really in a, you know, a position where you have to make up twice as much damage or whatever.
We'll fight again.
So you can just fight solo, and so I can just kind of, I haven't deleted that game from my PS3 hard drive. Let's say that, because I can see that being a game where I would just want to jump on and just mash around and just have a goofy old time in whatever that quest-like mode is.
Fight one. Ready? Go!
Ah! Oh wow, I got crushed. I've probably already beat this guy back when I was still in shape. Because in fact, even though he's 9th Dan, I wasn't having a whole lot of trouble beating this guy. Oh no. So, I think I can still get some value out of Tag 2, especially if I let myself get sucked into editing costumes, which I kind of hope I don't. Jeez, he did it again. Wow.
Fight 4. Ready? Go!
Oh no, what happened there? Wow. I'm getting scared now. Yep. That was a good animation.
Ready? Go!
Oh, one thing I like, Tag 2, even though it has really high production values, it has a certain, it kind of overuses colored lighting and overly dramatic shadow. Everything kind of looks blown out, and so I think some of the variety and inventiveness of the stages is a little lost in just this blown out sensation of color everywhere. Tekken 5 is interesting because it was actually a port of a PSP game. They made Tekken 5 only for PSP at first. And then some bean counters were probably like, wait, we made a full sequel to our big, super popular fighting game and we only put it out on handheld? Are you crazy? So they ported it. They ported the PSP game to PS3 and probably some other consoles, I don't know. But they didn't completely, remake the character models and stages and stuff. So they're still kind of low detail looking on PS3. They're kind of low detail looking because they're kind of PSP level detail level. But no, I think they got me. I hate that throw. You jerky Kershey. What makes up for that in a way is that the game runs really smoothly, it loads fast, and it runs in 1080p, which was really rare on... Okay, I'm doing stupid stuff. Jeez. I'm just getting abused. Wow. There are very few 3D action games on PS3 that ran... especially fighting games, I think. It ran in 1080p, so that's pretty cool. It's sharp. I mean, Virtua Fighter 5 runs in 1080p if you trick it. But it's Virtua Fighter 5 is upscaled from 720 or whatever, so it's not as sharp as it would be. But Tekken 5 is actually real 1080p and it's pretty sharp. And the game has some really cool stages. The lighting is not very detailed and the stages are not very detailed themselves, but it's just got some fun stages. There's an Antarctica stage with all these penguins and you're on this ice floe and it's just fun. It's just good fun. And the characters have they've got more personality than Virtua Fighter. I mean, they've got unique things they say when they win matches. Well, so does Virtua Fighter, but I think there's more variety in what the Tekken 5 characters can say, and just a little more out there personalities. Maybe not, but it kind of seemed that way. Like there's the aforementioned ninja guy who's just a Wesley Snipes style badass. There's this MMA dude, just this huge guy who's just completely over the top, you know, wrestler style public persona. That's fun. So that's an interesting contrast to Tag Tournament 2, which came out later and had much more rendering effects and all this stuff, but only runs in 720p and kind of overdoes the lighting and bloom and all this stuff, and it's kind of murkier, much murkier look to it than 5's look, which is really sharp. Dang it. Oh, it's an item match. I was hitting all the wrong buttons for those last couple exchanges. Just hitting the wrong buttons. That's what I wanted one of those times. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Oh, man. He's almost out-jabbed me there.
Ready? Go!
Oh, that was dumb. Come on. Yeah. Some good damage. Oh, no. Dumb. Oh, that was good damage there. Summa. So then I had actually planned that was all the Tekken I thought I was going to be doing, but just in the I somehow randomly ended up looking at the store. It's because they put their advertising techniques work. They put I think that was why they put a ad for their sale they were having. It's still going on now. On the PS4's, you know, XMB cross media bar, so they go, oh, well, check it out. So, and then they just happen to be just now putting Tekken 7 on sale on PS4 for $10. It's like, well, I guess I don't have much excuse for not trying it out. And I was kind of hoping that it would be a return to more of the individual character differences that I liked from Tekken 5 after, you know, the sort of generic team juggle style in Tag Tournament. But it wasn't. In fact, they just kept down that road of, well, we'll just make all these generic characters. So they've really been pumping out DLC characters for that game like crazy. Those weren't on sale. Well, the DLC packs actually were on sale, so I shouldn't say that. If you wanted to get a DLC pack, at least a couple of them on PS4 were on sale for half price or something. But Tekken 7's characters are completely generic. Completely. There's the big punch boy and the normal punch boy style. I was stupid. I was button mashing right there, and you see what good it did me. It was really depressing, actually. Tekken 7 made me sad to play. I would pick a character and I would be immediately bored playing them. So that actually did kind of depress me.
again.
So I don't know. Tekken 7 made me sad. What can I say? But you know, I watched people. I then went back and watched people playing it online. I think I was watching Li Joe, who's this very vociferous streamer. And actually, I got to know Li Joe. I not personally, but I knew of him through as a Street Fighter 5 professional Street Fighter 5 player. But then he plays a lot of different stuff, and he's kind of gotten into Tekken 7 lately, apparently. And you can see him having fun with the game, and it is because he seems to like the very specific just Tekken brawl. There's just a certain brawl you have with these 4 limb buttons and all these big buff characters that kind of all do the same thing with slight variations and different visual effects, but it's just this kind of big brawl. And I mean, in a way, it again, there's a certain sense behind it, because not only does it help you make characters really quickly, but they're kind of automatically balanced. I mean, apparently some of their recent DLC characters, there's Funk and Rom, or whatever the heck his name is, that big giant Thai kickboxer guy with all the just body completely covered in scars or tattoos or whatever. And then there's the blind, is he a kung fu artist with the bulldog? Who's a fun character design, but he looks, if you actually watch gameplay of him, it's all the same stuff everybody else does. But they apparently did make those 2 characters almost ridiculously strong when they first released as DLC. And I was going to say, well, so the way they've genericized their characters, it makes the game really easy to balance. But then I was thinking, no, then they had these unbalanced characters they put out. But they did that very deliberately to sell more DLC. Because you hear that, oh, this is a really strong character. Well, how much more likely are you to buy that character? And then they nerf them after a month or so.
Ready? Go!
Probably right before the first major tournament or something. Kawaii Aoi ought to be happy. She's one of these characters who likes to challenge you a lot. And I'm sure I've fought her before. And then she probably challenged me a bunch more times, and I had to keep rejecting her. But I'm just taking whoever comes right now, so... she got me. Oh no, that was his item match. Oh, gee. No, don't show me. Oh, yeah, there it is. So that must have been from the orb disc I filled up. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I guess I'll look at it. It's making me feel like Tekken 7 again. Now, Tekken 7 does have a pretty big customization mode, but it didn't feel quite as extensive to me. For instance, it didn't have all the separate parts of the hair that you could configure separately. So it actually felt like a step down. It was easier to use. There were some really bizarre organizational decisions made in Tag Tournament 2's customization mode that made it much more mature to use than it should have been. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Nope. What was the other thing I got? I don't remember now. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I do. Well, that's good. I didn't like the blue one. I don't know if this is doing much for me either. Alright, pale skin, you can just sit there and be forgotten about. You have 9,700. Night vision goggles. I don't think I super need any of this stuff. See, like, that's kind of a cool color. Not too expensive either. I don't know about that one. That one looks sort of similar to the one I have, maybe a little more yellowy. Oh yeah. Well, there goes a lot of my dough. So, are freaking out on me. Ugh, that's not a good sign. Ugh. Well, I think I've finished my Tekken ranting. But Tekken 5 still fun. Tag Tournament 2, maybe fun once in a while. So that was me not super paying attention to Virtua Fighter, but should we fight one more guy? Why not? Yeah, I feel much more like I'm actually playing a game when I play Virtua Fighter. Well, I shouldn't say playing a game. I feel like I'm playing
Let's see if you can walk the walk.
A fighting game where I actually want to learn the moves and how to do stuff. Whereas in Tekken, I don't feel compelled to do that at all. If I'm gonna play Tekken, I'm just gonna get in there and have fun and push buttons. Which is probably why Tekken is so popular. People don't want to learn something hard. They just want to get in there and push buttons and have explosions happen. And that's exactly what happens in Tekken. An absurd number of explosions happen just from punching people. Oh no. Ah, shoot. He's a step ahead of me in this round.
Ready? Go!
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Dang, that ruled. That's the kind of explosions I really like.
We'll fight again.
We probably, well, I mean, I don't usually re-challenge people I've beat before, but if I have another session where I just need to blow off steam and sort of get my mojo back, then we will, probably. I don't feel the need to have mojo against Leifei, though.
Fight
No.
one. Ready? Go!
No, we're good. Okay, so in fact, because I was sort of trapped indoors today, I finished work early, and now I should have enough time to do a second video of some kind. I have a couple games in mind that I have not made videos of yet, and I think what I'm going to do is another Sega 3D game on PS3, in fact. That I have not recorded before, and in fact have not played before. I just bought it kind of in the same session where I started buying up these Tekken games on PS3. So I think I'm going to go do that next. Thanks for watching this, and I won't say goodnight because I am going to come back and start recording another 3D Sega fighting game. So if that has you curious, come back soon, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.